Hi, my name is Ryan Buck. This is my oral presentation for Communications 251. And today I'm going to teach you how to make Italian meringue, or what Americans or Canadians would know as buttercream, which is a type of icing that is used for wedding cakes. So first of all, before we do anything, we're going to wash our hands. We need to lay out all the tools necessary. First of all, we're going to need a KitchenAid Cuisinart or mixing bowl of some kind. Stainless steel is preferable, with a whipping tool. We're going to need a pot, a spatula, a candy thermometer. This one reads to 400 degrees centigrade. You're going to need one that reads at least to 250 degrees centigrade. You're going to need a bowl. I've got two here just in case. And that's it for materials. The ingredients that we're going to need for this job are a couple of lemons, salt, a cup of sugar. We're going to crack 200 milliliters of egg whites, and we're going to use 9 ounces of butter. Alright, first of all, before we use any of our tools, we need to assure that they are clean. We're going to be using eggs, which, if there's any fat content at all on the stainless steel, it's going to prevent the eggs from rising. So I'm going to wash the stainless steel bowl and my pot with lemons. So as you can see, all I'm trying to do is hit each part of the surface of the bowl just to ensure that it is free of fat content. I'm going to go over here and rinse the bowl, come back and start making our buttercream. I'm going to put the sugar in the pot. And then we're going to take the water and put it in the sugar and make sure that the sugar is moist enough to be a liquid. So you can see what we have here is a liquid sugar. You want to make sure that the sides are clean. So you just wipe those off with your hand. And now we're ready to get that boiled. We come over here, we've got our element over here, we'll turn it on high, and we'll leave that there for now. Alright, now that we have our sugar on boil, we're going to come over here and we've got our eggs. We need to separate 200 milliliters of egg whites into our measuring cup, and I have a receptacle for the egg yolks just in case you want to throw those into tomorrow's omelet. You have to be very careful when separating the egg whites, because you don't want to get any shells, like I've gotten in here, or egg yolks into the egg whites. That will prevent the egg whites from rising when we throw them into the whisk here in just a few minutes. Alright, now that we've got our eggs separated, we can move the egg yolks over here. We've got our egg whites ready to go into our mixing bowl. Pop the whisk on, have that ready to go, and we'll leave that for now. Now we want to go over here and check our sugar. I've got my candy thermometer that I'm going to insert into the bowl. And you can see it's already making a move. So we want to wait until the sugar gets to 230 degrees Celsius, and that's when we'll take it back over to our mixing bowl. So I'll wait for that to get to 230 degrees. Just wanted to come back over here and show you that we're going to need to cube our butter. I've already done this here. We're going to need to cube our butter. It would be best if you put the butter, this is a pound of butter, in the microwave for about 20 seconds before you use it, or you can bring it out about 30 minutes beforehand and let it soften just sitting here on the counter. So I've cubed it. The best type of butter to use for ideal buttercream for professional grade Italian meringue would be the whitest butter you could find, definitely non-salted. We're using a New Zealand white non-salted butter, which is very white, probably the best quality that we can get here. Quite expensive, but it will create very high quality butter. So I think our sugar is ready, so let's go check on it. Miss Cameraman, if you want to get a close-up, what's going on here? We're probably at about 180 degrees. So that's gonna be a few more minutes before that's ready. We have reached 230 degrees here on our sugar, so we're going to take the thermometer off, turn off the element, we're going to bring the sugar over here, we're going to set it down and turn our eggs on full blast for about 30 seconds. What we're waiting for here is we're waiting for the eggs to get a little bit white. In this case, it's only going to take 20 to 30 seconds. Cameraman, if you can come in here and see, the eggs are getting a little bit white. All right, we've taken the eggs to what we call a soft peak. They're lightly fluffed. And now we're going to take, well, we're going to turn this down so we don't burn ourselves. And while it's going very slowly, we're going to pour our sugar in very slowly into the egg. All right, now that we poured in the sugar, we're going to turn up the eggs a little bit. And now we're going to leave that on mix until it cools down enough to be able to put in the butter. So we'll be back in a couple minutes when this is cooled down. All right, it's been about 3 minutes since we turned on our mixer, so let's take a look at what the mixture looks like. As you can see, it looks a lot like a meringue. It's quite fluffy. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the butter to this mixture. Now, to know when to add the butter, it's not an exact science, but anybody who's ever prepared a baby bottle would know. You're going to want to hold your wrist to the bottom of the bowl, and if it's too hot, if you wouldn't serve that to a baby, well, it's not ready. So we're going to wait a few more minutes until this cools down and add the butter. All right, it's been about 3 more minutes. I think we're about ready to go. One reminder for everybody out there, buttercream is not something to be rushed. If we were to rush this stage and put the butter in before the mixture in the pot was too cold, we'd just end up with a big bowl of soup and use this mixture. We couldn't do anything with it. So we've felt the bowl. It's just a slight warm temperature, so now we're ready to put in the butter. I've already cubed this butter, and I'm just going to put it in. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. And I'm going to put in the butter 1 piece at a time. Give it a couple seconds each piece to mix. All right, we put in our last piece of butter. We're going to wait about 10 seconds until we can see that everything's mixed together. And then we're going to put the beater on high to make sure that it just all incorporates together. So we're going to turn it up. Cameraman, you can come over and take a look at how the mixture is becoming. It's getting a little bit solid around the edges. Now we know it's ready to go. All right, now that the mixture has come together, we have a few options now. We can flavor this any way we like. The standard wedding cake in the US or here in Mexico as well, we would just leave this the way it is and put it on the cake, no problem. Some brides definitely like different colors. If you have a different type of filling that you're covering with the cream, you might want to incorporate some of that flavor on top. You can put in almond or an orange color. We personally use vanilla. I have some white vanilla, some good quality white vanilla that we make here in Mexico. So I'm just going to put a little bit, turn this back on. And just put a little bit of this in. You can put in a teaspoon, a tablespoon. You'd have to test it out to make sure, it gets flavored the way you like it. So we mix that together. And now our buttercream is done. All right, so now that our buttercream is finished, we'll just tap off the whip. We'll take our spatula, we've got our bowl. I'm just going to pour that right into the bowl. And there you have high quality Italian meringue buttercream that we're now going to use for various different jobs. All right, so this completes our presentation on how to make buttercream. Just wanted to let you know that this buttercream will store for up to 2 weeks in your fridge or 3 months in your freezer. When covering it, just make sure that you don't cover it on top of the bowl, but make sure you cover it right down on top of the buttercream so there's as little air as possible. Oh, and the last thing before you do store it, you gotta try it. It's good. Until next time, this has been Ryan Buck. This is my Communications 251 presentation. Thank you very much.